for entertainment purposes only. And if you want true legal advice, contact your own lawyer.
So, look, the latest news, we try to stay up on the latest news, and usually, this is a weekend show, and it's pretty rare that big things happen over the weekend. But Epstein just, was found dead in his jail cell. So let's back up those of you who have been, again, I always say living under a rock, who Epstein is. Latest I saw, he's worth about $1 billion. And he made his money by on Wall Street, right? As one of those financiers and I don't know, hedge fund guys.
So he claims. I mean, his most recent claim, somebody had heard, was they couldn't find any of his documentation, and his claim was, well, it was lost when the towers went down in 9/11. Because apparently there was no digital copy anywhere, but.
So there were the basic allegations. He was arrested in New York at one of his apparently $72 million. Is it a $72 million New York mansion? And he was arrested, and he's apparently being prosecuted for sex trafficking, among other things, with young girls. Now, here's the interesting thing that to be noted: there was a former case quite some time ago against him, a civil case that he settled out of court.
No, a criminal.
No, criminal case that they settled out of court for kind of the same thing. And now he's in prison, being held in jail, and the issue is he tried to get bail, and they said no because he's a flight risk because he has 2 or 3 jets. So some interesting facts about, let's go behind the scenes about these jets. It's a Boeing 727 is kind of the more famous jet that he has, and it's called Lolita Express. Again, Lolita Express is what his jet is called, and it's a customized 727. Those of you who don't know what that is, that's a pretty big Boeing jet. I mean, for a private jet. It's not one of the bigger ones that you get onto and fly around in like Southwest or Delta or United, but it's pretty big for a private jet.
Wasn't the JFK Air Force One a 727? For some reason,
might have been.
Yeah.
Well, I thought there were 737s.
It might have been, yeah.
But most of them are 737 or above. So anyway, that's where some underage girls were alleged to have been taken to his homes in Florida, and this resort, Denise, that we were just looking at is a massive resort. I mean, it's like a private island. And then you notice something different about that island that isn't normal, which is his house or his.
Well, his bedroom is off to the right side of the main house. It doesn't even attach to the main house.
Separate. So
it's a separate bedroom, and it's kind of just, I don't know, it doesn't feel right.
So the other thing that was interesting about this is now it's going to be, the who's who are going to be brought in. And first of all, we knew that the pilots were going to be subpoenaed to testify, or at least put under oath to figure out what they knew or what they saw. And let's back up to this plane. Who has been on this plane with him? Now again, we're going to mention this. This does not mean these people have done anything wrong. I mean, don't forget, I brought this up many times. There's so many people that people rub shoulders with. You never know what they're doing behind the scenes. You don't know. And if they find out there's something wrong with them, doesn't mean that you're doing it also. So you have to understand that. But it's very interesting. This guy was so well known that Prince Andrew's been on this jet. Harvard professor Alan Dershowitz has been on it. And how do you know that these people have been on it? They have flight logs. They have to keep flight logs on this. Some of the other people who have been on has been probably the one most notable is President Clinton. And in fact, President Clinton had said, nothing had occurred. And I'm going to jump on President Clinton's side on this one. He's not traveling by himself. He's traveling with Secret Service. The odds of something happening when President Clinton's on there is slim and none, in my opinion.
And that goes for President Trump, because he also was, he also was involved with Mr.
Einstein. But he's never been, to my knowledge, on the plane.
Yeah, I don't believe Trump. I mean, Trump had his own plane.
Right.
I don't think Clinton does. But yeah, you got Clinton, former Secretary of National Security Advisor Sandy Berger, the President of Colombia Andres Pastrana, Naomi Campbell, the model. Let's see, another Harvard alum, the President of Harvard, Larry Summers. Yep. And Kevin Spacey, Chris Tucker.
Well, actually, Kevin Spacey was kind of a big event where they went for, it was Clinton, Kevin Spacey, Chris Tucker went to Africa on his plane to do a project to raise awareness about poverty and AIDS. And so, hey, why not go on that, President Clinton? That's a good thing to do.
And one thing that we should point out also is it's common for folks that have jets Epstein might not have even been on the jet when it went. I mean,
right.
It could be one of those things where, let's say, Bill Clinton wants to go to Africa to do this outreach for poverty and AIDS and says to Epstein, can we use your jet? And Epstein says, sure, I'll foot the bill. It'll be some write-off for Epstein. And they take it and they go. And, they use the jet, but if Epstein wasn't on it,
right.
There's no real association. And that's common for that to happen as well.
But the core issue here is guilt by association.
That's true.
What did you know? When did you know it? What was going on that plane? Did you know what else was going on that plane?
But
those are would have been issues in a trial, wouldn't they?
Right, but here's the thing you're missing on that, Cal. Yeah. Guess how many times that plane was flying?
Oh, millions.
It's just all over the place. But just because you get on a jet, now if you're on the jet with Epstein all the time, that's maybe when you ask the question.
That's my point.
But when you are not on the plane when he's not there, then that's moot in my opinion.
I would want to know on that count, Cal. I would want to know, when did it become common knowledge or rumored knowledge around that it wasn't Epstein's jet, the 727, but was more commonly referred to as the Lolita Express?
Right.
Because
that's a big deal.
If you are flying on a plane that has already garnered the reputation of being that, probably not the wisest move from a public relations standpoint to take that jet. But I don't know when that name started being promulgated. I don't. So.
Well, here's the most interesting thing about. You make sure you get your facts straight. Don't forget they have the logs. And, it's rare that they cheat those up. So the President Clinton responded, I've only been on 4 trips in his airplane. Sure enough, the logs show 12 trips that President Clinton was on that plane. Big deal, right? But just, make sure you don't.
If you don't know the number, don't say a number.
Yeah. So anyway, that's, I doubt any of these people had anything to do with it. But anyway, it's no longer. This trial is gone.
Well, the criminal side of it, civil side's going to rank up now.
And we'll talk about that later. Well, we'll be back. We're going to talk about Philadelphia Phillies are suing to keep their mascot from becoming a free agent.
Go to the website, radiolawtalk.com. That's radiolawtalk.com.